All right, we've also been covering Donald Trump and his business dealings and the kind of the $900 million loss back in 1995 amid some thoughts that maybe that loss resulted in him not paying any taxes at all, maybe even up through now. Hard to say. We don't know. We don't have those returns. It would be perfectly legal, by the way, if he did. But it's not so much the legality of these things as much as how it looks to a lot of folks. And to a lot of folks, it doesn't look good. But that is in the eye of the beholder. Joe Trippi is a former Howard Dean campaign manager. Joins me here. We've got Scott Shellady, overall great investment guru, right now sort of weighing these issues and the markets and how they're reacting. And, of course, our own Trish Regan of the hit show Intelligence Report. Trish, ended with you, begin with you.
Okay.
We all know that businesses lose a lot of money, and they have their bad years. Apple had a bad year. Cisco had a bad year. General Motors had several bad years. Caterpillar had several bad years, sometimes losses dwarfing Donald Trump's. They remain viable enterprises. The difference is, of course, Donald Trump has his name on it, and it's Donald Trump. Sure. Should that make a difference simply because he's running for president?
No, I mean, look, I think that he declared bankruptcy 4 times, but, you know, as someone who covers the industry, I don't think I necessarily entirely fault him for that. I mean, there were a lot of restructurings that happened at the time. I mean, you're talking about some high-yield debt instruments that were worth restructuring, certainly from his perspective. Yeah, his name's on the product. It makes it a little tougher. But the reality is, at the end of the day, you know, he's running a business, and you're going to do what's best for the business. Let's also not forget, Neil, that entrepreneurs, they take a lot of risks. Right? I mean, you will not be successful in this country and make it to the tippity top if you're not willing to take some hits along the way. And so bankruptcy, for him anyway, has been part of those hits. What's remarkable is he has emerged stronger from each of them, 4 of them altogether.
Scott Shellady, what do you make of that? That, say what you will of Donald Trump, not taking political sides here, but if he was on the brink in 1995, he's got a thriving empire now that Forbes magazine conservatively estimates at $3.7 billion. He says that's low. But what do you make of that? Whatever his troubles, they're over with now.
Well, but you know what, Neil, whatever his troubles were, he was able to use the tax code to get to where he is today. And think about all the people that have benefited from that along the way, number one. Number two is back to Hillary Clinton's words of what type of a genius loses $1 billion a year. I would like to turn it back to her and say, what type of a genius has the ability to lose $1 billion a year and still be here today? That's the important part. And a large part of that is due to the fact that you have taxes that you can still get back on your feet. Now, to put it simply, if you were a butcher and lost $1 million one year, and the next year you lost you made $1.5 million, are you expected to pay taxes on $1.5 million? Because that will put you out of business again. We net those together. That's how this works. It's not uncommon for a trader to do that as well. So we're very used to it here. That's what the tax does, so we can continue to employ people and keep businesses alive.
Joe, what do you make of that? That it's getting the attention it does because of Trump's reluctance to release his tax forms, but you know, having a big loss, that's not unique to him. I mentioned these other examples. Maybe they're not all running for president, those CEOs, but if you substituted the name Donald Trump with Cisco, with Apple, with some of these companies I mentioned, no one would bat an eyelash.
Well, those companies are public and they release stuff. I mean, what we don't know is, did banks reduce those losses that he carried forward? If they did, in his future, in his next tax
then he got favorable treatment.
Yeah, did he report that and take less or not? I mean, there's all kinds of problems that could be answered completely and on the up and up. With
but let me ask you about the business demeanor part of it. And one story has, we need an SOB on these issues in Washington. Let's say you're going to stick contract, no one's advocating that, but if he is overseeing the public's money, the public would relish that.
Well, there's a couple things wrong with this, too. We look at his tax reform plan, reducing the state tax, which would save him billions more than he wrote off.
You're assuming that he's doing it for himself.
No. Well, hey, this is where the Clinton campaign's going to come at him. The other thing, frankly, though, is he hasn't put forward any cuts in spending on any of the entitlement, any of the big programs, neither have the Democrats either.
No, I know what you're saying.
So neither party has got clean clean hands in terms of, hey, count on me, I'll be tough with the bureaucracy and cut back on spending. He hasn't done that.
You know, Trish, you think about it, it's not been a good couple of weeks for capitalism, right? With the Wells Fargo CEO getting grilled, the Mylan Labs CEO getting grilled over that EpiPen nonsense, and that these pictures, these vignettes, kind of give people the notion that, well, maybe they are a seedy lot. Now, you and I have covered over the years, many were not. These are more the exceptions in the rule. But they reinforce an image of distrust that's helping Hillary Clinton and hurting Donald Trump.
Well, I'd actually say Donald Trump can turn this on its heels, though, because he, again, Neil, is the anti-establishment candidate. So one of the reasons Mylan, for example, was able to perhaps get away with what it got away with was because it had the backing of the U.S. government, got a huge contract with public schools, and what do you know? Shortly thereafter, upped the price significantly on the EpiPen. Now, it spent a lot of lobbying money to get that contract. So if I'm Donald Trump, I'm saying, you know what? This is the system at work. Wells Fargo, big backer, is none other than a Hillary Clinton backer, Warren Buffett. So he needs to turn that story around and get back to his sort of roots.
Well, maybe the Veep candidates, maybe the Veep candidates could do it. Scott, real quickly to you, the markets are factoring in a Hillary Clinton win, aren't they? Because every time it looks closer to Donald Trump, they sell off. Why is that?
Well, because it's an unknown. That's the only reason why. It could be a better unknown. Remember what we had happen with Brexit. Well, there was one heck of a sell-off there, but now look how well they're doing as well. So there's a lot of similarities, Neil, between Brexit and Donald Trump, and that's going to probably continue on for the next 30 days. I still say this. We are on a trajectory with Barack Obama and then Hillary Clinton with the economy to not win. We're not going. This is heading towards the ground. We have a candidate here that might pull us out of that death spiral. We don't know for sure, and that's what the market's getting a little nervous of. But we have a chance of some sort of fiscal reform. Where on the other side, it's certain death, and that's what I think the guys behind me will tell you as well.
Guys, I want to thank you all. Rushed for time here. I apologize for that. Great job, all.